The Boeing 737 went down just after noon, a short distance from the end of the runway at Jose Marti International Airport, while on a short hop flight to the eastern city of Holguin. Firefighters rushed to extinguish the flames that engulfed the field of debris left where Cubana Flight 972 hit the ground. Relatives of those aboard were ushered into a private area at the terminal to await word on their loved ones. "My daughter is 24, my God, she's only 24, cried Beatriz Pantoja, whose daughter Leticia was on the plane. State TV said the jet veered sharply to the right after takeoff, and Diaz-Canel said a special commission had been formed to investigate the cause of the crash. The only thing we heard, when we were checking in, an explosion. The lights went out in the airport and we looked out and saw black smoke rising, and they told us a plane had crashed," Argentine tourist Brian Horanbuena told the Associated Press at the airport. Authorities said there were 104 passengers and 6 crew members on the flight operated by the Cuban state airline. Mexican authorities said the Boeing 737-201 was built in 1979 and rented by Cubana from Aerolíneas de Moya, a small charter company that also goes by the name Global Air. In November 2010, a Global Air flight originating in Mexico City made an emergency landing in Puerto Vallarta because its front landing gear did not deploy. The fire was quickly extinguished, and none of the 104 people aboard were injured. That plane was a 737 first put into service in 1975. Cubana has had a generally good safety record but is notorious for delays and cancellations and has taken many of its planes out of service because of maintenance problems in recent months, prompting it to hire charter aircraft from other companies. 4 crash survivors were taken to a Havana hospital, and 3 remained alive as of mid-afternoon, hospital director Martínez Blanco told Cuban state TV. State media reports stopped short of openly declaring the rest on board were dead, but there was no word of other survivors by Friday evening. Cuban First Vice President Salvador Valdez Mesa had met with Cubana officials on Thursday to discuss improvements to its service. The airline blames its spotty record on a lack of parts and airplanes because of the U.S. trade embargo against the communist-run country. It was Cuba's 3rd major aviation accident since 2010. Last year, a Cuban military plane crashed into a hillside in the western province of Artemisa, killing 8 soldiers. In 2010, an Aero-Caribbean flight from Santiago to Havana went down in bad weather, killing all 68 people aboard, including 28 foreigners, in what was the country's worst air disaster in more than 2 decades. The last deadly accident involving a Cubana-operated plane was in 1989, when a charter flight from Havana to Milan, Italy, crashed shortly after takeoff, killing all 126 people on board and at least 24 on the ground. He said 64% of flights took off on time, up from 59% the previous year.